Ryan Poles felt like he had an opportunity to do a historic trade, but didn't pull the trigger on it. Did Ryan Poles miss out on possibly getting the Bears more? And should he have waited? Let's talk about that and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. So if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Bears, how Bears fans talk, man. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So report comes out yesterday that Peter King that Ryan Poles basically said he believed he had an opportunity to do something historical. He felt like there was an opportunity to move back to 2 with Houston, and then that there was an opportunity to possibly go from 2 to 9 with Carolina, maximizing the draft capital that comes out of. And so the question on the table today, did Ryan Poles show his hand too early? Could he have gotten more? Should he have gotten more? And I think what it comes down to is this. I'm very big on, and I'm sure everybody has said this cliche, but I am big on this. A bird in the hand to me is worth more than 2 in the bush. What do I mean by that? The woulda, shoulda, couldas that could come into play here don't matter to me, because the draft capital you got was immense, because the draft capital that you got was right, like you get another number 1 pick in this draft, you get a first round pick next year, you get your second back that you lost this year for Chase Claypool, not as high, but a second back that you wouldn't have had for Chase Claypool. You get a second for next year. Oh, and by the way, you got your number 1 wide receiver. And so I'm sitting here and I'm looking at that compensation. And I say, you know what? Could more picks have been beneficial to the Chicago Bears? Sure. Could you have gotten like 3 number 1s moved out 3 years and you'd have 3 years worth of draft capital? Sure. But here's the thing that comes with having that draft capital, right? Not to say it takes any pressure off of Ryan Poles' shoulders, but you have to be able to go out there and select that right player, develop that player the right way. Get them to buy into your system, get them to be successful in your system, get them to figure out, okay, this is where I fit, all while they're trying to figure out, right, like this is where I fit, all while they're trying to figure out, hey, how do I catch up to the rest of the NFL? There's a lot that goes into drafting these pieces outside of just, hey, I've got this draft pick. And at the same time, right, you still want to go out there and try and get the best draft capital that you can. Now, and the tough part of all of this is, right, you're probably not dealing here with a top 5 pick, right? Like, I don't think that Carolina will be that bad. So maybe that's the detractor, right? Where you say, hey, well, you know, Houston was going to suck. You could have probably gotten another top 5 pick. I think Carolina will probably be about the range that they are this season, right? You'll probably end up with another top 10 pick, which makes you feel better going into next year, right? Hopefully your team is able to develop and you'll have a top 10 pick. But the thing that it opens up here, and when we talk about future, is the opportunity for you to move up if you need to. You have 2 first-round picks going into next year. You'll have your first-round pick this year, right? You'll make your selections, all of that. You have your second-round pick. You'll have 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks going into next year. And I think that opens up a lot of opportunity for the Chicago Bears when you're talking about what can possibly be done in next year's draft, or even pieces you can move. Right, here's the thing. If you feel like Justin Fields is showing you this season, hey, no, I'm the guy, and you just need to add a little bit of this to here. Now you can see the Bears go out and possibly trade those picks maybe during the season to go get a guy that's going to be able to fit in here and help Justin Fields. Maybe that's how you go out and get your starting left tackle if Braxton Jones just kind of still looks like he's a good player. He's not a great player over there, right? Maybe that's how you go get, you know, whatever piece it is that Justin Fields is in need of going into the season, because Justin Fields is surprising us and showing us that he's able able to do some good things. When you feel like you've got the right pieces in place, it's a lot easier to move on from those picks. And so to me, right, like I don't look at this deal that Ryan Pace got and say, oh my God, we missed out on a haul because I think you got a haul. Could you have gotten more? Sure. But let's not minimize what we did get in the building. Could you have went out and maybe added another first round pick and another second round pick? Sure. But again, let's not minimize what we got in the building. The Chicago Bears absolutely got a much better player. And here's the best part about it, right? A 25-year-old proven player. You know what DJ Moore is going to bring to the Chicago Bears because we've seen him bring it in a Carolina Panthers jersey. You know how DJ Moore is going to play on the field. You don't have the question marks of, okay, how's this guy going to develop? How are we going to make this? You can take your scheme and fit your scheme to what you want him to do. You can take your scheme and say, hey, this is how we're going to make this happen. And this is how we're going to move this. And this is how, okay, we're going to position this way, right? Like, because we know this is how DJ Moore plays. We know that this is how DJ Moore wants to go out there and play football, right? So you already understand coming in, okay, this is how we have to build things out around DJ Moore because DJ Moore is already this level of player. So I don't come into this and say, you know, the Bears missed out on this great opportunity. I come into this and say that you came away with a amazing opportunity for your team moving forward. Going into next year's draft, you still have a really good opportunity in this year's draft to build up something really nice. You still have an opportunity now to incorporate DJ Moore into your system, and going into your second round and first round next year, you've got 2 more bites at the apple. I feel like that's a really, really good get, in my opinion. Now, more picks is a different story. I'll be honest with you. If you move down to 2, DJ Moore's probably off the table. And it's because, right, like I like the reasoning that Ryan Poles gave on it, right? He was talking about how the quarterbacks were playing and how, right, like there's all this value at the top and there's a bunch of teams that you could look at. And a lot of the stuff that we were saying, hey, I see what Will Levis is doing. I see what Anthony Richardson's doing, what Bryce Young, okay, like they're here, he's here, but like I wouldn't mind if he was here and he was here, right? Like the confusion at the top of this draft outside of Jalen Carter just all of a sudden dropping, right, is to me why I'm also not that upset. I do want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. There's still no clear-cut number 1. Who's going 1? Who's absolutely going 1? Who is Carolina taking? Who fits their team the best? You don't know because there's nothing there yet. You know what I mean? You don't know because you look at the team and you're just like, I mean, it looks good, but also they don't have an offensive line built up yet. They don't have that dominant running game anymore with CMC back there. They don't have this, oh my God, defense back there, right? Like, so I think that you're sitting there and you're saying this guy looks like he could go number 1, but maybe they want to go with this guy because of the size, or maybe they want to go with this guy because they're a little bit farther away. So they got this long-term project that they're trying to do, right? Like there's so many things that Carolina could do with that number 1 pick. And I think that's the reason why you also have to pull that trigger there, because there's teams, right? Like say you keep waiting, say you keep going, you don't know if you're going to get that package again. The second that you allow them to leave that phone call and say, hey, we'll get back to you on some compensation, click. You don't know if when they pick that phone up, that draft package is going to be the same because something changed at the top of the draft. And now maybe you're sitting there coming out with a best case scenario package, not a package that you feel like is going to get you the win in the long run. Now, here's the thing at the end of the day. The Bears were able to go out there and, to me, if you can position yourself for success and you just got to take advantage of it, that's the best scenario. The Bears position themselves for success. They just got to figure out how DJ Moore works with Justin Fields. They just got to figure out who's the right pieces at the top of that draft. And I think that I'm not just talking about success in the draft process, success in the offseason, because let's be real, a ton of success in the offseason doesn't always equal to a ton of success in the regular season. And that's where it comes down to. So I think the most important thing is, right, like you're positioning yourself for a successful season during the season. You're positioning yourself for a successful season in what's going to happen on the field. with already having DJ Moore in the mix. Now, Darnell Mooney possibly becomes your 2. Maybe he's your 3, or Chase Claypool becomes your 2. Maybe he's your 3. Now you got Cole Kmet in the fold. You bring in Robert Tonyan. You bring in Nate Davis, right? Like, you do a lot of these things that set yourself up, not just for draft success and hopefulness, right? Coming into this season where you're sitting there relying on first and second year players yet again to try and be successful. But you've got proven commodities coming into this offense that are going to be able to go out there and make plays. And you already know what their skill set is coming into the season. That is huge. So to me, I'm not upset that Ryan Poles pulled the trigger on this deal. I like the compensation we got back. Did he miss out on something historic? Maybe he did, right? But also I know what I have in my roster right now. And I think that that's an important thing to keep in mind. I know what I have in my roster right now. Hey, listen, there's still a lot missing from this roster. Don't get me wrong. I've said this multiple times. I love what the Bears are doing. It probably equals 3 or 4 wins. You know what I mean? Like, those 1-game losses that we had, we'll probably get some more of those. You know what I mean? Or the 1-point losses, I should say, or 1-possession losses that, or 1-score losses that didn't turn into wins, right? Like, it probably helps win like 3 or 4 more of those. But I don't think that this is going to turn into a Super Bowl run by any means or stretch of the imagination here. But hey, I do want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bears content. Click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. Hey, yo, Chicago! Y'all stay safe out there, man. Peace.